Ooh, it's October, and although I like spooky stuff all year round, everyone else seems to concentrate their spookiness in this month, so I'm doing a spooky episode today. Okay, I'm going to stop talking like that now. Hello and welcome to Front Row Cinema Club. Today we're talking Hollywood hauntings. If you don't like death or supernatural things, this episode probably won't be for you, but do check out my other stuff. I do film reviews and cinema history and all that stuff. Like, subscribe, do a small channel like mine a favour. Thank you. Now that's out of the way, let's begin on our tour of haunted Hollywood hotspots. Once upon a time, a very long time ago now, Hollywood movie stars wanted to spend eternity in one place and one place only, and that was Hollywood Memorial Park, a graveyard that conveniently backed onto the Paramount lot. Founded in 1899, it boasts forever residents including Mel Blanc, Harry Cohn, that's the founder of Columbia Pictures, the director Cecil B. DeMille.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Douglas Fairbanks, we'll talk about him later, Victor Fleming, Judy Garland, Florence Lawrence, Paul Muni, Mela Nurmi, aka Vampira, Virginia Rapet, Rudolph Valentino, and hundreds of other super famous people. In the 1930s, Hollywood Memorial Park fell on hard times as Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale became a more popular location for burials. Hollywood Memorial Park became overgrown, began to crumble, and would remain neglected well into the 1990s. It fell into such a state of disrepair that when, in 1974, singer Mama Cass was cremated there, bricks were falling in on her body as she was burnt. In 1998, Hollywood Memorial Park was purchased by new owners, renamed Hollywood Forever Cemetery, and millions were spent returning the site to its former glory. Ugh, and I really want to visit one day. But is it haunted? Many people have claimed that around Virginia Rapet's grave, the sound of a woman sobbing can sometimes be heard, accompanied by an icy presence. Who is Virginia Rapet, you say? If you've seen my other video on Hollywood scandals, where I pronounce her name wrong just repeatedly, but sorry, I've only ever read it, you see. You'll know her as the unfortunate young lady whose bladder burst at Fatty Arbuckle's party. Definitely a reason to cry. If you want to know more about that, I'll leave a link to my other video now. Peg Entwistle, born in 1908 in Wales, appeared in just one film during her lifetime. 13 Women was a 1932 psychological thriller, which I'm going to get around to watching soon because it seems quite interesting. Peg's part was largely lost in the edit, but here she is playing the character Hazel.
No, I don't get around much. I've been taking a motor trip with a friend. What's the matter, June? I'll have to tell you. I've got to tell somebody to get it out of my head. Hazel, I shouldn't go on with this act. I'm afraid. Afraid of what?
13 Women was released after Peg's death because 1 month before its premiere, Peg committed suicide by jumping off the Hollywood sign. After emigrating to America, Peg had had some success as a stage actress in New York. Moving west, she struggled as one woman in a sea of aspirational pretty faces. Shortly before her death, she was released from her contract with studio RKO. One of the world's most iconic landmarks, the Hollywood sign, which read Hollywoodland up until 1949, was originally erected in 1923 to advertise a housing development and was intended to stand for just 1 year. On the night of the 16th of September 1932, Peg Entwistle climbed up onto the H of the sign and jumped. 2 days later, a hiker found Peg's shoes and purse in the brush below. Inside the purse was a suicide note which read, "I am afraid I am a coward and I am sorry for many things. If I had only done this long ago, I could have saved a lot of pain." The hiker then noticed a body on the mountain. Peg was listed as having died by multiple fractures of the pelvis, which is not a very nice way to go, I can imagine. Ghost stories surrounding Peg began to circulate as early as the 1940s, when the letter H fell down from the Hollywood sign. In 1990, a hiking couple reported that they saw a strange woman dressed in old-fashioned clothing disappear before their eyes close to the monument, and many park rangers claimed to have seen her wandering alone at night, followed by the distinctive smell of gardenia perfume. The Mock Tudor mansion that would come to be known to the world as Pickfair was purchased by megastar couple Douglas Fairbanks and Mary Pickford in 1919. That's Doug and Mary. Anyone who was anyone in the movie industry was at Pickfair at some point during the 1920s. If you didn't have an invitation to a party there, you weren't in with the in crowd. After the decade ended and the Fairbankses were divorced, the 22-room house faded from the public eye. In 1976, when Mary received an honorary Oscar, viewers were given a peek inside the legendary abode. Filled with exotic treasures and antique furniture, Pickfair lay nestled in the Hollywood Hills until 1990, when it was demolished by then-owner, the singer Pia Zadora. This move, the destruction of a near-mythic Hollywood icon, angered a lot of people. At the time, Zadora claimed the place had fallen to rack and ruin, was infested with termites, and that she had no choice but to raze the property. Later, however, she would claim that the real reason she destroyed Pickfair was... well, you know the theme of the episode. Zadora claimed her daughter had been awoken one night by a levitating woman in white who'd hovered over her bed laughing maniacally. You might think Zadora started saying all this because people were quite upset with her. Maybe. But it's said that back in the day, Doug and Mary themselves would occasionally see the ghost of a maid around the property. So who knows, maybe it was haunted. The Roosevelt Hotel, the location of the first ever Academy Awards in 1929. The hotel has had and continues to have its fair share of movie star guests and currently is the oldest continually operating hotel in Los Angeles. And, most importantly for this video, it's often claimed to contain the ghost of Marilyn Monroe. Monroe was born Norma Jean Mortensen in 1926. She emerged from a difficult childhood and grew into an intellectual and introspective young woman, often dismissed as a simple blonde sexpot. During the early part of her career, she spent 2 years living at the Roosevelt. Having frequently struggled with depression, Monroe died on the 4th of August 1962 of acute barbiturate poisoning. Ghostly Marilyn's room overlooks the pool, features a wraparound balcony, and, if the stories are to be believed, she sometimes pops up in the full-length mirror to say hello. That is, if she's not busy appearing as a pink mist next to her grave. Right, we're going to end on a particularly gruesome story today. 150 Cielo Drive was a luxury house in Beverly Hills that was built in 1944 and stood for 50 years until 1994. Over the years, it was rented to stars including Lillian Gish, Cary Grant, Henry Fonda, and Olivia Hussey. In 1969, the property was rented by Roman Polanski and Sharon Tate. Whilst Polanski was away filming, Tate and 4 others were brutally murdered by followers of Charles Manson. I'll not go into the details of those crimes because they're pretty awful. I'll leave you to look them up for yourself if you're interested. Anyway, it's not actually 150 Cielo that's the focus of this haunting, but its near neighbour. In 1999, a man named David Ullman bought a plot of land just down the street from the Tate house and built himself a home, and it's his property that's apparently haunted. Ullman has reported mysterious knocking sounds, disembodied crying voices, and light anomalies. He believes these strange occurrences can be attributed to Tate and her friends, unaware that they are dead and searching desperately for help at the closest home. Ullman even claims that the ghostly visage of Jay Sebring once appeared, hovering over his bed. Why do ghosts always do that, always hovering over beds? It's like their thing. Hollywood is a glamorous, dirty, magical, strange place, and apparently there are lots of people dressed as Spider-Man there who hassle you to have a photo with them and then you have to pay them. I don't know, I've never been there. I did once go on an overnight ghost hunt in a Tudor house and the psychic there called me a very rude name and said the ghost had said it, but I have my doubts as I don't actually believe in ghosts. I think it was just him. But damn do I love spooky things and damn do I love films. And so I hope you enjoyed this little video today. What's your favourite spooky film related story? Let me know in the comments. Have a spooktacular Halloween and see you soon. Bye bye.